You are listening to Viewpoints from PlaceCloud. Cultural researchers tell stories of places from around the world. For the full multimedia experience and to support the creators you enjoy, visit placecloud.io.
Trellick Tower is a Grade 2-star listed tower block on Cheltenham Estate in Kensal Green, which was designed in a Brutalist style by architect Ernö Goldfinger and is considered by some to be a concrete masterpiece and an icon of late 20th century architecture. It was commissioned in 1966 by the Greater London Council and then opened in 1972 as the lone tower block in the much larger Cheltenham Estate, meaning that it has dominated its local skyline since then with its distinctive silhouette. Trellick Tower was Goldfinger's second housing scheme for the GLC, following the Rowlett Street estate in Poplar, which was completed in 1967 and features the Balfron Tower, which is designed in a similar way to Trellick Tower. Trellick Tower gained an unfavourable reputation in its early years, similar to many post-war social housing schemes. It has even been associated with J.G. Ballard's novel High Rise, a dystopic fictional story of the problems of crowded urban environments. Before the tower was finished, it was known to have a series of problems and bad press, with the drying rooms on the ground floor vandalised before the building was finished, and tower blocks in general had started to be considered unfashionable. Public views on Trellick Tower were affected before it was even completed, some of which was due to the fire at Ronan Point Tower Block, which caused much of that building to collapse in 1968. In its early years, Trellick Tower was nicknamed by some the Tower of Terror due to problems with antisocial behaviour and crime. However, it was seen to gradually improve in the 1980s after the establishment of a residents' association, and in 1994, residents elected to self-manage the properties to avoid an increase in rents and eviction threats. The building was later listed in 1998 and recognised for its architectural importance as a Brutalist icon, and increasingly became seen as a more desirable place to live, with demands for private flats remaining high and prices increasing, though it importantly still retains majority social housing. Soon after, the government funded a £17 million renovation by John McCaslan and partners. The base of the tower is renowned as a centre for urban arts, and is another example of one of London's legal halls of fame, where graffiti artists can paint without the risk of arrest and consequently have a safe space to hone their skills. In the graffiti community, its importance sits alongside other iconic sites in London, such as Leek Street and the Stockwell Hall of Fame. The Graffiti Hall of Fame at the Trellick Tower can be found in the concrete enclosed former communal sports area. In 2017, graffiti pieces were added to the Hall of Fame in tribute to the survivors and victims of the Grenfell Tower disaster, where a severe fire on the 14th of June 2017 killed 72 of the tower's residents and displaced all its inhabitants. The words Grenfell and Justice were painted in large graffiti lettering at the Trellick Tower Graffiti Hall of Fame. 1 year after the fire, a graffiti jam was held at the Trellick Tower in memory of the 72 people who lost their lives, and their names were painted on a giant graffiti piece in tribute and as a call for justice for them and their families. In the autumn of 2020, it was revealed that the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea Council were taking steps to implement a new development onto the grounds of the Trellick Tower, which would leave the Graffiti Hall of Fame at risk of destruction. In response to the plans, Ernö Gudbrands created a documentary film, Trellick, The Writing is on the Wall, highlighting the importance of both the tower and the Graffiti Hall of Fame. In an interview with Then There Was Us, Gudbrands stated that, "Through research, I got in touch with some amazing people and graffiti artists, who then introduced me to the Hall of Fame, which is the most amazing space in the garden of Trellick Tower. A rare gem in a city that is fast losing its cultural spaces in face of development and gentrification. The Hall of Fame would be at risk of destruction. This is a world-famous graffiti space, so very important to preserve. It is also used as a community space, and to take that away would be very damaging to locals and artists alike. It is an ever-changing art gallery, and both should be preserved and protected as they are for future generations." In February 2021, the 20th Century Society published a statement opposing the proposals to change the Trellick Tower. As though the number of flats in the new plan had been reduced, they still expressed concern about the demolition of the children's playing area, the football pitch, the walkways, and also the Graffiti Hall of Fame. The 20th Century Society also launched a petition against the scheme, which they felt would erode the local colour and historic culture of the area, as well as leading to unwelcome gentrification. In 2009, the 100 flats and houses around the tower, nicknamed the Goldfinger Babies, were threatened with removal and redevelopment by the Kensington and Chelsea Council, but a decision was then made to leave them standing, and local residents commissioned Novak Studio to create an alternative design as part of a residents' campaign. Recently, artist, writer, and director Ayo Akinbade created a trilogy of films called No News Today, focusing on some of London's iconic tower blocks, exploring the narratives around social housing and the effects of gentrification and social cleansing in London, such as the ways in which residents have fought for their rights when facing redevelopment in their community. This included Akinbade's film Tower XYZ from 2016, the first film in the trilogy which was shown at the Lisson Gallery and depicts London's tower block life through Akinbade's eyes, focusing on Trellick Tower. The female narration on the film includes the lines, "The city stinks, full of dead culture, its fetishization of my culture, my culture." Some have said it's a call to action. I would say it's just about existing. When speaking of the film and reflecting on the Grenfell Tower fire, Akinbade said, "For years, many residents resisted and urged for the local government to listen to their basic human rights, which came to no avail. This is the lived experience of many people globally deemed as poor or disadvantaged, ones who can't help their situation. When I finally did visit the Grenfell site, I spoke to a local resident and she said, 'We pay our rent, we pay our council tax and other bills. Because we live in a tower block, we are poor and should be forgotten.' Akinbade further added, 'I would like to dedicate the film to the people who have been affected by such loss and many still kicking.' In a graffiti art piece with a similar theme, international street artist Stick created the work Big Mother on the Charles Hocking House in 2014, a 13-storey mural in Acton, West London, which was thought to be the tallest in Britain. The mural was designed to highlight social housing issues, an idea which can be seen in many of Stick's works, and which he has personal connection to, as he was once homeless for a period himself. The artwork depicted a mother and child. As Stick described, the mother is looking out to the horizon, wondering where she'll go once the building is demolished, while the child's eyes are fixed on luxury apartments being built opposite this social housing block. Obviously, the child is not going to be living in those apartments. The final destination is unknown, but I wanted to convey some sort of hope. Due to both the context of the piece and its vast size, 125 feet tall, it became a symbol of protest against the destruction of social housing, and the work could even be seen by some planes landing at Heathrow Airport. Sadly, the work was demolished along with the block itself. Though Stick continues in his art to help give a voice to marginalised communities, to draw attention to people saying, "We are still here, we've not gone yet, we're hanging on."